Yeah, I think this was the most complete that I've played. I felt good about the timing. There were a lot of balls thrown on time, and obviously the line played fantastic. I think we've had Tom just told me 7 sacks in the last 6 games. It's pretty remarkable.
That's Aaron Rodgers after the best game of his career. It still feels weird to say it, but it was. Perfect passer rating, 5 touchdown passes, a touchdown on the ground, and the Packers rolled over the Raiders. It's Sunday statement time, our draft that we do every Monday during the season. I've got the trivia question to determine who gets the first pick. I think I know who the first pick is going to be. Here's the question. Lamar Jackson has now surpassed 500 yards rushing in 2 straight seasons. Only one other quarterback in NFL history has 500 or more rushing yards in each of his first 2 seasons. Who is that quarterback?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with Randall Cunningham.
Cam Newton. Oh, okay. It's the second straight day that Cam Newton's been the answer to the trivia question, although for very different reasons. But
Darn
no,
it.
Cam Newton. Okay. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, these are not easy.
Yes, no, they're
because
not.
Especially when you're talking about history.
Right.
I mean, is it Bobby Douglas? I don't know.
I was thinking, I know. I went down Steve Young. I was thinking of all a bunch of different people.
All right, so
Go
I'm
ahead.
going to take Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers. Well, and especially because last week, after seeing what he did on Monday night against the Detroit Lions and reflecting on what he did against the Cowboys, and it all started in the loss to the Eagles. That's when Aaron Rodgers began to play at an MVP level. And even though the stats drive that consideration, I think it means more than the stats. It's what are you doing to help your team win? And he's the guy at the center of that universe. And he's the guy who is making that team go. And he's the guy who is holding that team together through some sluggish offensive performances. And he didn't get passive-aggressive. And he made sure on Monday night when guys were dropping passes not to have a nasty reaction and yell at guys. He's being very patient with this team. He knows that these are young guys who are trying to grow and develop, and it paid off yesterday. Everybody stepped up. Everybody got it done. And Aaron Rodgers, career game in year 11, 12 as a starter, and it was an amazing thing to see.
It was. I mean, it epitomizes what we talk about with MVP. I mean, this is an offense that I don't think anybody's going to look at and go, whoa, there's great talent everywhere. What they do have is a good system, and they're running the ball, and they have some creative play-action design. And then because of Rodgers' talent himself, that allows the rest of the guys around him to look better than they are, especially at the receiving position. And of course, the other thing, too, you just got to remember is, Matt LaFleur and company can design play-action passes that maybe they never even dreamt of before because they just go, well, I mean, we got this guy. Any place on the field is a capability for us to draw one up. And that adds to the offense as well. So I'm with you there, and I'm staying in the NFC North. I mean, I'm going with Kirk Cousins. I am. I mean, the Cousins and the Vikings in general. But and I of course I want to add Cousins in there because a lot of people have been on him about his contract and things like that. He was phenomenal, and it's 3 weeks in a row. But I think the bigger picture too is just the Minnesota Vikings in general. To what you've said, really, all last week. These are usually the games they would lose. We've come off some impressive wins, and everything's looking good. And then we go on the road and lay an egg in Detroit or something like that. We've seen that a lot, I feel like, over the last few years with the Minnesota Vikings. So for them to answer the bell one more time and then not answer it through their defense, because their defense was not special yesterday. I mean, Detroit was moving the ball. Stafford was throwing laser beams all over the field. But Kirk Cousins continued to answer. And Mike Zimmer didn't allow the Vikings to crawl into a shell when they got the lead and go, oh, let's just run the ball. And, well, my defense will help us get out. I think he realized what the game was and that they needed to stay aggressive on the offensive side of the ball, and Cousins capitalized.
That play-action pass on 2nd and 6 with the game still very much in the balance.
35-30.
The Lions get the ball back. I've seen this movie many times before, and seeing Kirk Cousins on the sideline as the Lions were driving down to score the touchdown that would make it 35-30, kind of pacing, knowing I got to keep myself in this zone. And I feel like, Chris, week to week, he's trying to keep himself in this zone where he's upset.
Right.
And it's going to be harder to do the better he plays because he's going to get more and more praise. And he's got to remember how it felt hearing guys like me say, basically, the Vikings have to figure out how to escape this contract. That's how bad Kirk Cousins is after 20 games as the starting quarterback. Now, look, I'm not a big fan of guys getting indignant when we happen to point out that they're not earning their money, because he wasn't. But I think he's trying to stay in that sweet spot that he's found, that very narrow lane where he's upset and he's angry every week and he's playing better and better because of it. And maybe some of the members of the coaching staff are kind of prodding him a little bit to get him to that point where he's in that that he said, I play better when I'm ticked off. Maybe the coaches will figure out how to keep him ticked off.
You like that? That's what he's found again. He found another, this is it. That's what he's doing.
But he's not doing the you like that.
Right.
He's keeping it all
together, like you're saying.
There's a bigger prize here, right? He
Yeah.
doesn't want to wobble away from that groove that he's found. And he's trying to take that zone and extend it all the way through the end of the season.
Yeah.
So good choice by you. 2 NFC North quarterbacks taking over. How about an AFC South quarterback in Jacoby Brissett?
Okay.
I mean, think about it. We are less than 2 months removed from the stunning news that Andrew Luck was retiring. And it was very easy at that point to write off the Colts. Like, what are they going to be? What are they going to do? They've got Jacoby Brissett, and they're happy with Jacoby Brissett, but he's not Andrew Luck. Well, yesterday, Jacoby Brissett had a great game against a great opponent. And any of these times, even though the two quarterbacks are never on the field at the same time, you've got Deshaun Watson versus Jacoby Brissett. 1 week after we saw Deshaun Watson versus Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
This is an opportunity for Brissett to prove that he belongs in that conversation of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and he delivered. It's amazing to think about where the Colts are right now.
Yeah.
And look, Andrew Luck couldn't come back this year if he wanted to, because he'd have to pass through waivers and someone would grab him. But I think right now the Colts are fine. We don't need it. We're fine with who we have.
Yes. I mean, we are learning. This is another great year of we're learning that it's more than just about the quarterback in football.
Except when it's Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I mean, no, it's not. They've helped the quarterback out, too. Even as great as he is, he needed help. I mean, and they've done that, with at least a system and a run game and play action passes like we talked about. But, yes, Jacoby Brissett's been phenomenal. He was phenomenal yesterday. And I think, the game is not managed for him. I mean, they just go out and play. And he throws the ball all over the field. And it's deep shots and deep crosses and everything like that. And, he's very good in the pocket. He battles back from adversity. Had the sack fumble early on in the game where, he comes back from that. This touchdown pass here. Yeah, this is a phenomenal catch. But just like Tony Dungy said last night, too, it's a phenomenal throw, too, because you got to be safe in that situation. You don't want to put that ball, in a place where it can be intercepted. That ball either gets caught by your guy or it goes off of his hands, out of bounds, and that was great too. But
let me just say
good
this,
for Jacoby Brissett. Yeah,
the Colts have got to prove to me that they can win the games they're supposed to win. They're the flip side of the Vikings.
Right?
They stumbled against the Chargers. In hindsight, how the heck do you lose to the Chargers?
Yeah.
They lost at home to the Raiders. That shouldn't have happened.
You're right.
They need to win the games they're supposed to win, and they've got some games coming up that are going to fall in that category. Denver coming to town next week. That's a game you got to win.
Right.
At the Steelers, that's a game you got to win. The Dolphins. I mean, if they don't go 3-0 these next 3 games, that's the concern, that they can rise up when it's a great opponent, but then they slink when it's a bad opponent.
Yeah, no, they have definitely seemed to have that a little bit to a degree. Even that Falcons game was in the balance for a while too. You might have said that. Maybe I wasn't listening.
I didn't. You weren't listening.
But good. But either way, all right, that's enough with your pick and the Colts. My next statement's going to go to the two guys from last night who I wanted more from, Zeke Elliott and Demarcus Lawrence. Yeah, they made a Sunday statement. These are two guys that are the highest paid at their position or close to the highest paid at their position in all of football. Zeke Elliott is. Demarcus Lawrence is right up there with the Khalil Macks and the Aaron Donalds of the world, and they have not performed to the level that they should or what they're being paid for what Jerry Jones expects out of them as far as performance on the field. And last night, they let you know they were out there early on. Zeke Elliott ran with, anger. It was explosiveness from the second he took off downhill, got the ball. I mean, hey, that first run that got them down to the 1 yard line when he ran over Malcolm Jenkins, I went, oh, that looks like the Zeke Elliott that I remember in the preseason game who ran over Cam Chancellor as a rookie. But just look to have, a little more explosiveness and just, I don't know what I want to say, want to, whatever it may be, running the football. And then Demarcus Lawrence, who I'm still not going to sit here and say it's as good as it should be. He did have, shoulder surgery in the offseason, but he caused that early sack fumble that got them going in the right direction.
All right, I could go a lot of different directions here, but I love the move that was made by Kyle Shanahan, your buddy.
Yeah.
After beating
That was
Washington
a good statement.
That's right. It's Sunday statement draft, so that's how it fits.
Yeah.
Giving the game ball, not to a player, not to an assistant coach, not to John Lynch, not to Jed York, not to anybody connected to the 49ers organization. The game ball went to his dad, Mike Shanahan, who suffered right next to Kyle through those multiple years of operating within the confines of a dysfunctional franchise. And that's a great capper to put on the Shanahan regime in Washington. Give the game ball to Mike. And it's going to be a rough week for Washington because 4 days after the reunion game with Kyle Shanahan, it's the reunion game with Kirk Cousins in prime time.
Great.
Yeah.
Yes. Get that thrown in their face. Yeah. And they're lucky it was a monsoon there yesterday because Washington would have got, I think, run over by the San Francisco 49ers. So I'm with you there. All right, I'm going to go to a team we haven't talked about yet today, but they deserve some love. Cliff Kingsbury. Sunday statement. I'm going to give it to him because this was a hiring that I had big questions about. Like, man, Texas Tech wasn't even that great. And, what has he been around to be a great NFL offensive play caller? Well, he's a smart guy. He works hard. He's willing to steal plays from other teams. I think all of that, and that's what good offensive coordinators do. But I think Cliff Kingsbury made a statement yesterday again. This Arizona Cardinal team, you sit here and go, wow, they're 3-3-1. I think a lot of us thought they were going to be towards the bottom of football as far as the worst teams in the sport, but he has been gutsy with play calling, doing different things on the offensive side of the ball. Of course, Kyler Murray's impressive, but then Chase Edmonds, who was the other guy I wanted to choose for this statement at running back, his ability to run the football, catch passes out of the backfield, that's added another weapon to this offense that was needed badly. So I give Cliff Kingsbury and the Arizona Cardinals a lot of credit for what they're doing.
From the Fordham Rams.
That's right.
Just like Vince Lombardi.
Yes, as the great
Chase
Fordham
Edmonds.
Rams.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.